What is happening, my people? What's going on, y'all? Yes, sir. There we go. Squad. What's happening, Dre? Compa. Yeah, I got some stuff I gotta talk about here for a second. Very nice. What up, Yoda? I saw your message, bro. I saw your message. Newcastle. Nice. England. That's what's up. Pharaoh. I like it. How is everybody doing tonight? I don't know if y'all saw the news. This is a pretty big deal, though. Pretty big deal. We're going to start off by talking about Coyote Peterson and his recent find in British Columbia. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about something else here. So, first off, in the last live, I was kind of playing favorites and kind of showing a little more love to the YouTube fam than the Facebook. And I want to go about saying that that's not the right. I shouldn't do that. I value you all equally. I love both platforms. You guys, I mean, y'all are every follower I appreciate. I just wanted to let you guys know that there's no favorites in this world. You all are on an equal plane, and I appreciate every one of you, down to the last follower. So, you guys are awesome. I have a good crew. I have a good ass crew, and I love every one of you. So, that being said, unfortunately, for some reason, on Facebook, I've been getting hit a little bit with some fact checks, right? I don't know if the boss just got to me or what, but I have been hit a little bit on the fact checks. I got a couple strikes against me, and I'm looking. It's definitely making me and putting me on edge with the posts and stuff like that. One of the posts was like, shoot, I posted it back in March, I think, on the reels. It was that Coco post that got hit with a fact check on that, and then got hit on the CERN post that I recently did. So it's just got me a little on edge. I'm at risk of losing my ads, so I'm gonna kind of make sure that my posts there are gonna be really clean, and I might not be able to post everything that I do at this time. It definitely is a disappointment. It hurt, man, but because I really love Facebook. I love posting there. I got a good crew there. I got a good following. I'm hoping that it goes, but I got an appeal going on right now, so it's a little demoralizing. It definitely hurts a little bit, but you got to keep on keeping on. Like I said, I hope the appeal, maybe they'll see that the one that was old. I thought I've been doing research on it like mad, because you can actually, after you get fact checked, you can actually go and email the company that fact check you and have them review the video, because I think it's bots that get you. But that's only if you don't delete the post. And I had deleted the post thinking that it would help my case, but maybe I'll get lucky, and maybe the older strike I can get dropped. That way I feel like a little more comfortable with posting, because I only got about one strike left. So yeah, and I don't want to risk losing the platform as a whole either. That really scares me. So I'm going to make sure that everything on Facebook is really conservative and mostly storytelling and stuff like that. I was even on edge about talking about the Coyote Peterson's case right here. In the post I posted on YouTube. I'm going to play the video for you guys, but I did a lot of disclaimers and stuff like that. So, obviously you see here, that's just that, and I'm going to drop it from there, guys. So, obviously you see here, I appreciate you all though. Thank you guys for all the support. But you see here, this was recently posted. It was within the last 24 hours, right? And it's crazy, y'all, because Coyote Peterson is a big time wilderness guy. He has his own channel called Brave Wilderness, where he goes around the world and explores and encounters animals and introduces animals, all that stuff. But in the last 24 hours, and he shared it on Facebook, right? He shared it on Facebook, and that's a surprise to me a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and read what he shared and kind of let you guys elaborate on that as to what you want to think or believe. But it's pretty groundbreaking if it is true. It's really groundbreaking. So it says breaking news, and this is by Coyote himself, I imagine, or his team. It says leaking pics here before they are taken down and before government/officials try to seize our footage. Found a large, he says, primate skull. Now, that hasn't been verified by a primatologist, okay? But the guy's a professional. He's been doing it for years. I imagine what he says is close to accurate, but it hasn't been verified. I want to say that. Found a large primate skull in British Columbia. Filmed it, cut the footage, releasing on @BraveWilderness this weekend. So in the next couple days, he's going to release the footage of the find, which is really cool. Have kept this a secret for several weeks. Yes, I have the skull. It's currently in a secure location, awaiting primatologist review. Absolutely unreal. We thought it was a bear skull when they first found it. I can 100% guarantee that it is not, he says. The skull was found partially buried underground in deep back forest ravine after a massive storm in the Pacific Northwest, where clearly a bunch of trees and earth were disturbed. I'm sure these pics will be taken down, as will probably the video by the government or state park officials. But the skull is safe. I don't know if it's what you all think it might be, which is crazy. I mean, you know what he's saying there, right? I don't know if it's what you all think it might be. What I believe, and obviously this is just my opinion and it's not stated as a fact, but I don't know if it's what you all think it might be, means to me that he believes that it could possibly be a Bigfoot skull. All right? A Bigfoot skull. That is insane, y'all. And the picture's kind of exaggerated a little bit, but it looks of decent size. If you look here, it looks of decent size. But I cannot explain finding a primate skull in the Pacific Northwest without wondering, what do you believe? So, what do y'all think it is? I mean, at the end of the day, could it be Bigfoot? The fact that, really the North America is, I'm pretty sure, never documented any primates being in the area. So it's a huge find, especially in British Columbia. Now, the First Nation tribes in the area, dating back, and I did a video on this and I'm going to play it for you guys, but the First Nation tribes in the area, they called them the Matlog, which is a really weird name, Matlog, the Matlog, but they have stories and legends of these creatures dating back centuries, we'll say. The first known documented find or Bigfoot, not find, I shouldn't say that, Bigfoot claim was documented back in the 1700s. 1774, they discovered a river or an inlet, excuse me, and the captain that discovered it at the time, Spain and England were actually exploring the area vastly and a lot. They contacted back and they sent a crew almost 18 years later to explore the area. Okay? And they kind of mingled or intermingled with the First Nation tribe of the Nootka tribe, I want to say, Nootka. And they had stories on stories about the Matlog. They said it was a creature that had a skull like a human, had fangs like a bear or a wolf, but it stood 7 to 8 feet tall, had really long arms, claws, and yeah, more or less, they believed it was a Bigfoot, and they were super strong. But either way, I'm going to play the video for you guys. I'm going to play my video for you guys real quick and let you guys watch it. I wasn't planning on this being a long live. I just wanted to talk to you guys about that, especially my Facebook people, my followers on there. So if you kind of see sparse, posting, I just wanted to kind of inform you guys and, tell you guys I appreciate all the love and support you guys have been giving me. So check out this video. I may post this on Facebook as a separate video. I may not. I'm just kind of on edge right now, so I'm going to play it on here, but I kind of do the disclaimer thing in the beginning, and I'm going to let you guys hear the story. The story really is awesome behind all this. I stumbled on a really cool story that actually took place in the area that he supposedly found the skull. Okay? So tune in, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay. I want to start off this post by saying I post this content for entertainment purposes only. Hold up. I got to get you guys on screen watch real quick, though. I got to get you on the screen watch. Hold up. Where are you at? Screen capture, that's what it's called. All right, hold up. Screen 1, boom, and then browser source. 2, where the hell are you? Should, anyway, hold up. Let me know if you guys are seeing this. I'm going to move the chat box. Here. I just want to know that if I expand it, you guys are seeing it. Hold up, 2 seconds. All right, let me interact. Just play it. I want to start off this post by saying I post this content for entertainment purposes only. It's subject to scrutiny, and that by no means am I saying that Coyote Peterson found a primate skull or that Bigfoot actually is real or exists. You guys can hear and everything. Possible primate skull discovered in British Columbia, Canada. Coyote Peterson, host of popular show Brave Wilderness, believes that while exploring in British Columbia, that he has discovered a possible primate skull. About 24 hours ago, he posted about his find on Facebook in fear that if he didn't, it would be covered up. He writes that he kept it secret for several weeks and actually smuggled it out of the country, and it's in safekeeping. It says, "We thought it was a bear skull when we found it. I can 100% guarantee it is not." The skull was found partially buried underground in the deep Black Forest ravine after a massive storm in the Pacific Northwest. In fear that it would be seized by state park or government officials and never brought to light, he smuggled it back to America, and right now, it is currently being looked at by a primatologist. He's using discretion when saying what he believes it possibly is, but y'all know what he thinks it is. If so, this find would change history. There has never been a finding like it in the Americas. Up to this point, it is believed that gorillas and primates had never inhabited the area. And if it does just so happen to be the notorious Bigfoot, this find is colossal. That's always been the number one argument of skeptics about Bigfoot. Where's the bodies? Where's the remains? And I'm also not saying that this is Bigfoot. Nobody really knows yet. But the speculation is that it possibly could be. And the reason there's never any finds of Bigfoot, I believe, is that they take care of their dead. They dispose of the bodies. As you can see by the picture, the skull is significant in size. So as you can imagine, the scientific community is buzzing. And by reading some of the comments on his Facebook, some of the fans were actually disappointed with him, which surprised me. They didn't like the fact that he broke the law in smuggling it through TSA from Canada to America. But he must have surely felt that that's what he had to do because he's a public figure. He's known. He had 1.6 million follows on Facebook. So for him to go to this extreme, he must be pretty adamant about what he believes it is. If you go check his page out, look at the original post. It says breaking news, and he believed that it would be taken down, but it hasn't been yet. It's been getting shared all over the internet. As far as evidence of Bigfoot in the area, the First Nations tribes people has told stories about them for centuries. They called it the Matlog and described it as a beast that had human-like features but was covered in bristly black hair and was massive. They would tell stories of them harassing the tribe. And the following story is one of the earliest known recorded accounts of Bigfoot, part 2. One of the earliest known recordings of Bigfoot dates back to 1792 in a book called The Account of the Nuka Sound. The journal was written by Jose Mariano Mazzino, and it was during a time when the Spanish and English were exploring the Pacific coast heavily. The story begins in 1774 when a captain named Bruno Aceta discovers an inlet the Nuka called the Mauicat. 18 years later, in 1792, the Viceroy of New Spain, Juan Güemes, ordered the exploration of this area and its inhabitants. One of the explorers, Jose Mozino from Mexico, documented something peculiar. In his journal, he wrote and documented what the tribes people called the Metlog. They said it lived in the mountains and would terrorize the tribes people. The creature's skull was similar to that of a human's, but they had fangs and sharp claws, like a bear or a wolf. They were tall, and they had bristly black hair covering their whole body. The tribes people believed that it was some type of demon, and they were absolutely terrified of the creature. Then almost 150 years later, it's said or believed that something incredible took place in 1928. Trapper and explorer Harry Mukalat had been staying with the Nuka tribe. Harry had just left the company of these people to travel up the Canooma River to trap. After a long day's travel in his canoe, he decided to make camp and get some much-needed rest. He had some dinner, then cozied up to the campfire and fell asleep. A couple hours later, he was in a deep slumber when suddenly he felt himself being picked up off the ground. At first, he thought he was having a terrible nightmare, but quickly realized it was actually taking place. He jostled and fought with everything he had to break free from his captor, but it did no good. This beast was entirely too strong. It toted Harry for miles, nonchalantly, as if he was nothing. Harry had been abducted by a Bigfoot, and it carried him around 4 to 5 miles away from his camp. And when he finally dropped him, he realized he was at their colony's location, and there were 20 other beasts surrounding him, just staring at him. There were both male and females of all different sizes, observing him intently. As they were staring at him, he happened to glance over and noticed a pile of bones, so he thought for sure he had met his fate. It turns out the creatures were more interested in the blanket that he had wrapped around him than eating him. And during the course of the day, much to his luck, the beast seemed to lose interest in him, so he got up and made a run for it. He ran for miles until he eventually reached the Nuka village that he originally left. It's here he was found by a Catholic missionary, and they took him in. It took him 3 weeks to recover from the ordeal, and many more to even talk about it. Eventually, he did tell the priest exactly what had happened, and for good reason. He never returned to the area, nor did he ever go in the woods alone again. And as the years passed throughout the 20th century, the term Matlog was used less frequently, and they began using the name Bigfoot. So there you have it, guys. That's one of the earliest accounts of Bigfoot in North America, on the Pacific coast near British Columbia. But I want to say again, by no means am I saying that Coyote Peterson found a Bigfoot skull or a primate skull for that matter. The only reason I told that story was to document possible Bigfoot sightings in the area and to educate you guys a little bit on the history of Bigfoot. Does this mean he is real? No. Does it mean they found a skull? No. I just want to be clear on those notions. So I hope you enjoyed the story. Thank you guys so much for following me. Thank you for supporting me. And continue to watch. Continue to stay tuned. Follow, like, comment. Stay in the love, stay in the light, and treat others how you want to be treated. I am out. There you have it, folks. Where's that coming from? Hold on here. I want to get rid of both these sources real quick. And that's the story and one of the first documented accounts of supposed Bigfoot on the Pacific coast. That I had never heard that story. That was the first time, and I'm pretty on the up and up on all these Bigfoot stories. I had never heard that story about the gentleman getting picked up and carried. I mean, that is just crazy, y'all. Could you imagine it? Could you imagine the sheer terror going through that poor guy? I mean, absolutely horrified. Sleeping, sound asleep by a fire. You're just trapping, exploring the wilderness. And all of a sudden, something just, whoom, picks you up as if you're a toddler, right? And he starts walking him through the woods. You're fighting, you're punching it, you're doing whatever you can. And this beast doesn't even feel a thing. He's chuckling, bro, just walking with your head through the woods, right? And walks you for miles, bruh. Miles. Until he gets to his colony where there's 20 more. Males, females. You can look at them and tell they're intelligent, but they're still animals, right? To you. You can look in their eyes, though, and see the intelligence. Absolutely terrifying. Then, all of a sudden, he sets you down, and they all surround you, and they're just staring at you, right? You're thinking, you think you're no doubt about to be a freaking 4-course meal. You look over and you see a pile of bones, and you're like, oh hell, this is my fate. I'm about to get ate by Bigfoot. But much to his surprise, they seemed more infatuated with his blanket. Now that was kind of weird to me. It made me wonder what his blanket looked like and exactly what it was made of. If maybe it was made from Bigfoot fur, is what I was kind of wondering. Maybe it was made from Bigfoot fur and he thought that it was like a black bear or something like that, but the Bigfoot could recognize that. It noticed that. Like, interesting. Really interesting. But when he got back there, they were just staring at him, and then all of a sudden they kind of just started seeming less infatuated with him. No big deal, another human. And they start going about their business, and they kind of just forget about you. Bro, that guy was running with everything he had, bro. Like, those things, they fly. They fly. If they wanted to catch him, they would have. Obviously, they had no interest in it. He basically was let go, if you ask me. Because if they wanted to, they would have caught him. No questions asked. They outrun us, I'll bet you close to, 3 to 4 to 1. They probably run us 3 times as fast to 4 times. Maybe even 5 is some people. You know what I'm saying? Like, they fly. So, he gets all the way back to camp. And they recover. He recovers, and he gets took to the Catholic missionary and recovers, and then he tells his story. Then, of course, you would never go in the wilderness again. Like, I used to be that guy. Like, I used to walk through the woods a lot when I was a kid. It's been a long time since I have, because when I was younger, it was different. Like, when I was younger, it wasn't such a big deal to go walk through your neighbor's, 100 acres or 80 acre woods. Used to build forts, chop down trees. Nowadays, though, it's gotten a lot more strict, and people have gotten different about their property. Um, I just kids aren't. It's not the same. So I don't walk through the woods as much as I once did, but I used to walk through the woods pretty freely and openly, and not even care. Now that I know what I know, there's no way you'd find me out there without at least something on me. You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of the bad approach, really. If you see a Bigfoot, the last thing you should do is shoot. Obviously, I wouldn't shoot at him, but maybe to scare him off. But I guess it makes them aggressive. Um, Most of the time, if they don't want to see you or they want to be seen, they'll let you see them. But for the most part, they can watch you and you'll never know it. Uh, I've also heard this lately, which is kind of surprising me. I've been hearing through the grapevine lately, and from people that I've been talking about it to, Bigfoot. I've heard is able to cloak. I had never heard that. Bigfoot is able to cloak, which means I'm not talking just camo up and be unseen. I've heard from a couple different sources now that some believe that Bigfoot can change his he can change his frequency in such a way that you and I can't pick him up. Uh, if you ever seen that little cartoon where the guy, he takes him into the lab and he changes the light frequency and all of a sudden everything disappears, but it's all still there, but he can't see it because they literally just changed the frequency and the frequency of light. So I'm guessing that's what they mean when Bigfoot can camo. And I told you that story about my friend who is an older gentleman who would never really share such things, if especially if he knew you didn't believe in it. He is not the type of guy to share things like this. But he told me about how he had a hunt blind and he never see anything. Deer would surround the woods all the time, but he would never get them to come in. And one day he was sitting in his blind and he looked up in the tree and he saw what he believed is he swears by it because he said he saw it a couple times, and this was the only woods that he would walk out and he'd never unload his gun because he always felt like something was watching him. But he looked up and he saw in the tree what looked to him like a predator-esque entity, camoed out in that clear. I guess I don't know what kind of camo you call it. It's an invis, but it still distorts the environment around you. It distorts it, so you can still somewhat see the silhouette. In other words, so yeah, that's what I'm hearing Bigfoot is capable of. And I've talked about it before, how he, some believe they protect the portals. They can see your aura and tell if you're inherently evil or good. So, like I'm saying, when I say Bigfoot's been around for as long, I'll bet you Bigfoot's been around maybe, as close to the same amount of time as possibly even, allegedly, some of the first inhabitants on this planet. I don't even want to say really what I believe they could be, but I think they've been around millions of years. I arguably millions of years. They choose to live the way they do because that's the way they live and that's the way they want to live. They don't care as much about tech and flying craft, etc. They'd rather just hunt, gather, and forage and stick to themselves. That's what they do, and I believe. Thank you so much, JJ. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, bro. So yeah, at the end of the day, I believe that's why his frequency is a vibe much higher. I believe they're much more intelligent than we are. Honestly, I believe that Bigfoot can talk on a collective consciousness level. They can talk and they are on that in tune with Mother Nature and themselves, that their whole clan can, once one experiences something, everybody experiences it. If one of them dies per se, that the whole clan knows as soon as they die, whatever happens to them, and they feel what they feel at the time. Like, that's how in tune these creatures are. Um, I don't understand why, mankind, to me, that this is just all speculation. This is obviously for entertainment purposes only. I'm just talking, and speculating. There's no verifiable proof of any of this, but it's just my belief that we could easily, if humanity would change, it's not Bigfoot, it's humanity. If we would change, we could coexist with Bigfoot and intermingle with Bigfoot on a level that we can't even imagine, truthfully. But for some reason, it's kept secret, and it's, well, arguably kept secret or hidden, or they steer clear of us because we tend to be afraid of what we don't understand, which is a given. That's natural. But I think that we need to become more open-minded. Just like that video I showed you guys yesterday with the sea serpent they found on the ocean floor, as big as the largest whale, over 100 feet. 100 feet. It looked like a sea serpent. To me, it looked like it had a slight dragon-esque head. But yeah, it was amazing. The find was just insane. But yeah, they exist as well. Like, all these creatures exist. We need to start opening our minds to the fantastical. To me, but at the end of the day, I like to keep an open mind a lot. So maybe I get called gullible all the time, right? So maybe I am, I guess. Yeah. So yeah. Other than that, guys, I don't really have a hell of a lot. I'm really whipped and tired. Um, been. I put up a garage yesterday. Well, like a pop-up garage. So, and man, I'll tell you that, I swear to God, you get something nice for yourself and people automatically just, it's crazy. Life is crazy. I try to help as much people as I can, man, but sometimes it's hard, people tend to take advantage at times. So I'm a little wore out, guys, and just tired, man. I wanted to share that story with you guys, though, and talk to you a little bit. Talk to my Facebook people. I love you guys. Love all you guys. Love YouTube, too. Like I said, there's no platform that I favor over the other. Y'all are great. Every follower counts, and every one of you guys are on equal planes, and I love you all the same. So I'm going to keep grinding, keep on keeping on. I'm hesitant. I'm not sure. This will obviously be on Facebook. I'm not sure if I'm going to post the video that I just showed you guys yet on there or not. Kind of playing with that one at the moment. But it's on YouTube, and I will probably post it on. I probably will post it on Instagram. I'm kind of hesitant there too, but like I said, as of now, I emailed the fact checker. Maybe I'll get a break, but crazy stuff. It's been trying. It's been stressful. So that's the only thing that I will say about creating. That's it's highs and lows. Like, sometimes you're like killing the game. But it's very, very fragile. It's fragile, guys. I know people tend to think creators live this life, but it's, and it's just it's a great, I love doing it. I wouldn't change it for the world, but it's volatile. It's very fragile. So, at least in my content, in my niche, in my niche, I should specify that, in this niche. So, hopefully we'll be rocking. And we'll keep grinding it out, and I'll keep bringing you guys that good stuff. I am going to share the Navigator Beyond the Ice Wall story really soon. Thank you so much, Piercing the Veil. I appreciate you. I will be sharing the Navigator Who Crossed the Ice Walls third part really soon, guys. So stay tuned. Watch for that. And as always, stay in love, stay in the light. Treat others how you want to be treated. And just vibe out, guys. All right? Keep tuning in. I appreciate you all.